So that's then 35 points of damage.
Yes. And he says,
damn.
"Oh no, Zold. I could do better."
Your days are numbered.
Geráck, why don't you pick a number, 1 or 2?
1.
Escalation die does not go up.
Good.
Geráck.
Yes!
I mean, I did say sorry when I went up, when I said it.
Oh, shit.
You can't heal anymore, I think, so...
I have 2 healing potions, but...
Yeah,
Or
but those are standard actions.
Those would also remove your cold resistance that you have.
Indeed. So I won't use it now, at least.
Start wrecking house.
Yeah, hopefully. So I will attempt to hit him.
Okay.
That's a 14.
That is most assuredly a hit. You've got him down into double-digit hit points now.
Good, good.
As the breastplate, even above, as he falls down to both knees, is also showing signs of wear and tear. And he's not able to move that effectively. The agility, mostly diminished. He is still taller than you, even on both of his knees.
Yes.
You're
I will
like,
crack this abomination that is upon you.
Abomination?
It should never have been made.
Your family made this. Is that what you think of your ancestry?
Yes.
At that moment, your helmet stops working. Completely shuts off.
Oh shit.
Heirloom helmet pretty much kind of blinks in your head and stops.
You look such a changed dwarf from what you were. You're born again.
The Frostfist snarls, shivering off the chain that he once again coiled quickly, and attempts to punch it at Geráck. That will miss, and he has no miss effect with that attack. It was a very poor roll for him. Okay, Manaki, 1 or 2.
2.
The escalation die does not go up. Geráck?
I should not have said that.
Do it. Feed him and prove your worth. That would probably do it.
That's a crit.
Yeah.
He's
The
in,
worm is with you.
He's in double-digit health. Even that attack is not enough to kill him, but that's certainly enough to knock him into dying. So you can go ahead and give me a bit of description from that, Geráck.
God. Just as he falls on both knees and tries to hit Geráck with his huge hook, Geráck takes a sidestep and then just jumps on top of him, slamming his shield into his chest, knocking him onto his back, and then slamming the hammer down right on top of his helmet, knocking him unconscious.
The helmet cracks horrifically, it not being a magical device. But to the credit of Dwarven craftsmanship, it still remains mostly intact. That being said, Gunner, the Frostfist, falls still, the only movements being from him from breathing. Combat is over. The entire army sort of looks around. Everyone who's not a frost giant looks absolutely bewildered and mildly terrified as they look over at Geráck. The frost giants do look as if they're now conferring with each other.
Geráck
I guess we
picks up
prepare
the...
to engage if they dishonor the...
Yeah. Geráck picks up the broken helmet and just throws it towards the other giants.
Yes, would be quite a long distance. Geráck can certainly manage some of that, though. Revealing Gunner's face, he does appear to be very aged, with numerous lines going through his along his skin. Several centuries he may have been born at the start of this age, maybe even a bit before it. His skin looks a little haggard, like an old man's would, although for someone in his position, he's not that bad off. Well, other than the whole you knocked him unconscious thing, but he's not that bad off. Frost
I'm
Giants.
curious to see what you do now.
Yeah, I'm debating whether I should hit him again to finish him off or not.
The Frost Giants, look around. The the units, they're like looking around, like looking up, like the ogres and trolls. They don't really seem like that interested at all. And then the frost giants perhaps do something unexpected. They lift their war axes, and the sorceress lifts her staff, and they actually begin to slay the bandit army that's gathered around them.
Well, at this point, I suppose when we see that, we bellow the order to try to stop anyone who tries to flee.
Yes, you most certainly can do that. Ogres and troll archers and gnolls on wargs, they know better. They're not going to attack a frost giant, let alone 3 of them, who seem now to be firmly committed to killing them in the heart of them. Fucking gnolls go running everywhere. Fucking goblins go screaming. The cavalry comes moving out to hunt down people. Only the frost giants could effectively scale down the hills here. And your army is able to effectively mop up a routing bandit force without any casualties. Frostfist's army, within a short amount of time, particularly from the effort of the frost giants, is dead.
We should. I'll try to rally with Geráck to make sure that. But he seems unbloodied still, so. Well, wounded perhaps.
Yeah,
but
his
not
arm is a bit
seriously.
dented, and he has like a broken nose probably.
But rally around the frost fist while this happens, probably also to check if he's still alive.
Yes, the army that you brought with you is definitely giving the frost giants a wide berth. Not really sure whether they should try to attack, and honestly, they wouldn't want to anyway.
Well, they haven't. They've been. We probably. The command would be to stop those who flee from the frost giants battle. Basically,
Yes.
those the frost giants can't get.
Yeah.
But don't go to the middle of this whole battlefield.
So that would be how I'd be directing them, basically, to act as a vanguard to clear up anyone trying to escape.
They can certainly do that, though it will take some time to hunt people down.
Obviously, but we want these. We can probably talk to the giants, because Aranas will say you have not killed him.
I have not. I'm debating whether I should or not.
You won the battle. You showed him defeat. I do not think it necessary to kill him.
No.
You
of course not.
you have killed. It seems that this day you would have killed the Frost Fist. You need not necessarily kill Gunnar the Frost Giant. You may yet be able to, have him fulfill your purpose of leaving the Imperial lands forever. And his family might very well go with him, and be grateful for it if you allow him to leave with his life after a battle to the death.
He might be
Looks
back.
over his shoulder and says, and they are making sure that their army does not escape. They do not simply disperse. These lands would be bandit free. Perhaps, in exchange for his life, you could even ask them to stay at the borders of the Empire, or to roam there, and make sure that no further bandits or bugbear incursions would happen. If they could save Gunnar's life, perhaps that would be something they would be willing to do.
That is an idea. He is honorable in his own way, but
His
I was
family seem
also-
to have proven that they are as well. Would you have stood down if it was your sister who had fought and had been losing? Would you have killed all of us, as promised? Or even go so much further? It would seem to me that they are indeed honorable. I believe
after
such a
breaking that
deal
bond,
would
I
be
wouldn't.
to the benefit of the Empire. They would stay away and perhaps do some good to prevent those who would harm the citizens from doing so.
I was also thinking that we could let his brothers and that woman leave and bring him to Axis.
What would you do with him in Axis?
He would just face justice there. He would probably just be hanged. Or not hanged, but executed.
Thrown into a gladiatorial arena.
Believe such a thing would be cruel.
There is no need to extend on what would happen. This is the field of war, not a criminal inquiry.
Yeah. Aurelia nods to that with a very serious expression as she says, not killing all of them seems confusing to me. Therefore, it is doing good, yes?
Nus frowns and says, I believe that honor
what it
should
got to.
be answered with honor. And he looks to the keep and sort of says, the horseman currently riding, and says, and the forces here are stretched thin. It seems prudent if a promise could be, perhaps, he looks to Gunnar, he's old, it would seem, perhaps for the remainder of his lifetime. They could stay at the outskirts of Imperial territory and make sure that perhaps a few fewer unfortunate elements would enter the Imperial territory. They would be outside and not interact with us at all, and perhaps they could even spare some to give some relief to the people who live in these lands. Ultimately, however, it is up to you. I commend you on your honor and bravery in this battle. This is a moment where you can show who you wish to be.
The problem is that I don't know for how long we can trust him to keep outside the Empire. And
You have defeated him. You could do so again. His armor
Exactly.
has been...
there are
He looks
those
at it.
though who will question our decision.
not those who have seen this.
And there are many who will question us regardless of what we do.
Indeed so.
I believe that the great gold worm would perhaps see this chance to turn him away from this violence and perhaps even, well, you asking him to perhaps stay outside of the Empire and perhaps even guard it somewhat for the rest of his life would be, to him, perhaps a harsh task to comply with, because it would go against his violent ways. It would, however, also allow him to live an old age with his family in relative peace, under the excuse of having to protect the Empire, to fulfill his promise. They are slaying all of their own people. That should be enough show that they are willing to do what is necessary. I believe their faith and the honor they have shown us should be rewarded. If we do not reward honor, then we should not expect anyone to show it ever again towards us.
And another thing to consider is the mercy of, well, he had every opportunity to kill you or kill all of us. Well, he gestures kind of a dismissive hand towards Aranas. Or most of us, at least, when we reapproached him before. He showed you mercy. Is it not right if you show him?
That is true. And it is something we should repay him for.
Take away his armor, if you will. That is the symbol he's been standing under. Would the armor still be workable? Grimith?
Look, he could still wear it just fine. It's way too big for any of you.
Yeah, no, more like, is it broken?
He could certainly, like, someone could certainly repair it.
All right. But such could be spoken with his family, perhaps, once this army has been destroyed. You will be the one speaking. I will stand by what you decide, though I would frown upon taking him to Axis to be an entertainment product.
You've done better. You've done worse.
It's above average.
But you're in a champion tier drawing environment.
The goddess certainly smiled upon you for this battle.
Indeed, and I thank her for her blessings.
Believe the great gold worm did as well. Rare is it for an elven goddess to bless a dwarven warrior.
These are odd times we live in, is it not?
It's a great show of unity among all.
It sure is.
Indeed.
It sure is, Aurelia. You hear a coughing come from the body, which is still rather massive, and even from like the back to chest, could still be just as tall, if not taller than you. And you hear a Lowy say, "I had heard such awful things about your father, young Zold. It is good to see that there is strength still within your house."
How do you know so much about my family? About my... I understand my ancestors, but my current family, how do you know all these things?
The Frostfists of old, and your family, along with others who patrol the Frost Ranges, fought many years ago, and ages ago as well. We have an understanding of sorts. My family in particular does not prey along the Frost Range companions, or the entire mountains, preferring to strike elsewhere. The Dragon Empire, knowing full well the tenacity and the honor that some dwarves possess. After all, it is one of your ancestors who made this armor for my family.
Does he appear to still be dying?
It looks as if he's stabilized.
Good.
I assume they wouldn't have done so without reason, but...
You have most certainly shaped my opinion, and I imagine by your actions here, shaped the opinions of others too. It would be hard for me to see what you have done as a sign of ill rather than good. Besides, you certainly do have at least a few more spectators, and the frost giant, who's laying with his back on the ground, points up the sky.
Geráck looks up.
Over 100 meters into the air are swooping red shadows, dragon-like in shape, who are slowly circling above the city. I imagine they had come to collect on the debt I owed after letting you go.
That complicates things.
In fact, I feel a little honored. 3 red dragons? Look alright, too. Would probably have eaten me, or at least burned me up.
Can Ballista reach that far up, I wonder?
They can't reach that far, neither can the dragons, though.
Oh.
Yeah, the dragons will have to swoop in, but we don't really have ballistas. It's not really
Our armies are not fit to fight 3 red dragons.
No.
Neither was his, though.
No. As they continue discussion, though, the red dragons do switch to a different formation and begin flying, heading north.
Oh, okay.
They don't want to fight 2 combined armies, and
Well, one is dead.
Like, if dragons came, yeah, we would stand with this guy and fight them.
Yeah. One army is pretty much dead here by this point.
Yeah. But the giants are pretty good, I assume.
Yeah.
Probably
I mean, the
not
giants-
against fire, but you know.
you know, he did okay.
Gunnar says, "Anyway, that is how I know about your family. We, the Frostfists, and to an extent, my brother and his sons, the Baldersons, we keep track of the Zolds. We like to try and find something among you short folk. And my family found that among the Zolds many years ago, and I have seen myself that it still exists. Besides, not to make an argument for myself," he says as he slowly begins to lean up like the armor creaking as he raises to a half-sitting position. If you were to kill me, and word got back all the way far up north, there might be a retaliation strike against the mountains up there. The Frost Giants haven't thrown in their weight as of yet with any particular course of action. Unlike the demons that are prowling about up there, and certainly the orcs pouring down from the mountains, but were it to be heard that Dwarf slayed me in single combat, even among those who don't particularly like me, justice would be demanded.
I understand.
As it stands, I'm mostly a pariah among my people. He slowly bends his body. I am very old, and my attitudes are different than theirs. Frost Giants by nature, although we do have a reputation for violence that is well earned, are also herders, and I've never been much for herding. Not my thing.
It seems you will get to grow a little older as well. I have decided not to kill you. Instead, you and your brothers should head south to protect the border of the Empire against incursion.
He casts a glance over. My nephews, I'll try and keep them in line, I suppose. Especially the hothead one. Probably had to hit him upside it a few times. And he's just like his father. Don't suppose you're looking for a wife, are you, young Zold? I've been trying to,
no.
marry off my daughter here for some time, but it seems that my reputation is, too intimidating for many possible suitors. She's pretty good in a fight?
I am not. I
I'll
assume
try
you
and
are
support
familiar
somehow.
I assume you are familiar with the oaths we take in the Blessed Brothers.
Yes, it was a joke, young Zold.
I assumed as much.
That and really hoping that I can find someone suitable for her.
I'm sure you will in time.
Looks back, someone has to carry on the Frostfist line. As, she's, raining blizzards and ice walls down upon screaming goblins.
Could you imagine that? That would be some news. And then he married the giant's daughter. Who is this guy?
He says, I can take a look around this area, ensure that no other incursions like mine come pouring in. I can also take a look towards your small folks' seawall. I'm not particularly interested in getting overrun by aquatic monsters either. I don't know how much the four of us can, 5. He points to the little gnome who's still happily clapping as he's, raining, shadow hell down upon, the goblins.
I am not sure how welcome you would be at the wall.
We won't approach an enlist. But, I think, given your empire's current state, any assistance will be welcome, if not acknowledged.
Indeed it would.
Jasmine will nod to this.
And indeed it will, although we can continue to roleplay. You folks not only satisfied the minimum requirements of this and are entitled to the reward, you have gone beyond. In addition, Geráck, through the stories of having personally defeated the Frostfist in single combat, you will have an extra 2 dice with the Dwarf King. Positive. That you could say use to spend on something like, say, Dwarven Paladins, or whatever you might want to spend Dwarf King dice on.
Alright, nice.
Typically, Geráck has a conflicted relationship, so,
Some positive might be a good thing to have.
I will go ahead and add yonder dice. Yes, that is a successful completion of the mission. You have relieved the siege of Kavanaugh, and you've done it with minimal bloodshed. None of your armies have been lost, and none of the people within the city have taken even greater hardship.
Geráck will also ask the Frost Fist a bit about his past, his history with the Zold family and stuff like that. But that we can take after the session or in during downtime
Sure.
or whatever.
Yeah, we can do that during downtime. That seems fitting there.
Does the
Go ahead.
It was if the Frostfist's army, I imagine they have lots of plunder and like food and stuff that perhaps could use to relieve the city.
Yes, you
No
most
troubles.
certainly could do that as well. Rather than you folks getting any money, you will get an extra relationship die with the Emperor.
Nice.
As word of your generosity, when you could have easily seized for yourself. We'll be alright. The garrison that you brought with you will also ask to stay behind in Kavanaugh and basically like leave your service. The city has been thoroughly thrashed, and should any barbarians actually, or the druids, make their way back up here again, the Marcus says that it would be for the best of these people.
We can certainly station them here for a time at least.
They would be sorely missed, but we can't leave these people too.
We'll leave them here for a time, and when things have stabilized a bit, we might call for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marcus Sten and his garrison will stay behind in Kavanaugh.
Unless there's another reason why we desperately need them at the moment.
No, nothing as desperate as keeping people safe.
Let's see here. That's those. You get an extra one with the Emperor because of your generosity, which takes you back up to 3. And you get a political power, which takes you up to 3. The mission here is resolved. That's 2 positive Emperor dice with an extra one, so 3. 2 High Druid dice, because these were a problem for the Druids as well. And because of Geráck's most noble defeat of the Frost Giant Warlord, who is famed in this age in single combat. That gets you 2 positive dice with the Dwarf King as well. Even with Geráck's recent shakiness as perhaps an Oathbreaker who can't be trusted, you did just defeat a Frost Giant Warlord in single combat.
Yeah.
There will most assuredly be your doubters, but that is a remarkable achievement all the same.
Indeed it is. It really depends on who you talk to, I guess, if I respect it or not, but yeah.
Grind a worm in single combat, huh?
Yes, let's do it.
Honorable combat.
Geráck will also be given a free recovery.
Nice. I also did not...
You also did not deduct the 2 recoveries that you spent.
Yeah, you spent 3, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
those are the
three.
dwarven thing.
Yeah.
No, did he come out the untouched?
No, not quite.
Like I remember I got pulled away by loud blaring of death.
Yeah.
He got punched down pretty far. The Frostfist had to roll, even with his amazing bonus as well, in order to hit Geráck's AC of 31 and his physical defense of 25.
It's a pretty good AC, I can't lie.
Which is why the Frostfist switched to his attack that targeted physical defense instead of his attack that hit AC, even though his AC attack was more lethal, because your armor with the divine intervention was better than his. AC of 29.
Well, the
Luckily-
real question is, would the stories be better if he came out of this fight untouched?
You know, I don't think we need to blemish anything. People do that for us.
Exactly.
That's
It's
right.
a much better story to tell in the battle when he was undefeated and in the sky the dragons flew and they were scared and fled to the north back from whence they came.
Yes, certainly you will be commended by the folks who follow you as a wise choice. Even Lord Inator will just concede all right, I suppose that was for the best then. It was still highly risky though, but all right, you did it. Good work. Geráck.
It was indeed a high risk, but the rewards speak for themselves, I feel.
As they most certainly do. Alessa nods because this was her idea. She knew that this was a good course of action. And Langsam just sort of shrugs. Whatever. The people of Kavanaugh are very grateful. The horsemen who are relieved, they have already taken severe losses. They don't really have anything to offer you. And after the generosity of you basically giving the bandits plunder to them, they rejoice, which is why you got that extra die.
Keep the borderlands safe, basically, and take these. The Imperial garrison of Newport will assist to make sure that such.
You folks are free to interact with any of the Frost Giants as you wish. If you would like to move on to something else, though, you can save that for downtime. It's up to you.
Personally, I don't have a whole lot to talk to them about, I imagine.
We can have a think about it if there's anything in downtime we want.
Yeah, I imagine it's primarily Geráck who's gonna...
Yeah, but we will probably handle that in downtime, I think.
Okay, that's fine.
Wait then.
Geráck will also have a conversation with his helmet, I guess.
His helmet has shut down and will not respond.
Alright.
You do not get the bonus to mental defense from it, and cannot call upon its ability.
Alright.
For now. I feel like the Dwarven mages who are, with the Imperial mages basically say something defective. You done insulted the magic item. Especially by,
I kinda did, yeah.
Yeah, the family, which the heirloom item cares about. You pretty much threw it under the bus.
What is it with your family that is so... that you dislike so much? I do not know of the Zold family's reputation. It has apparently not reached the Queen's Wood.
Well, I sort of said it was a disgrace. His armor was a disgrace and should never have been made.
You have
And it was
spoken
made
of
by my family.
your family ill before. What is it that makes it so?
Could you say that again?
What in the past of your family's history has made it such a terrible thing?